So this is the riding story that some of you guys asked for. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with my first times on a horse. This was a long time ago, of course, and it was at a Western barn, or I believe it could have been English, but I don't remember. So they put me on a really moody pony, and of course that moody pony bucked me off. So let's just say I didn't get off to a good start with horses. But once I rode again, I went to a much better barn where they put me on a much better horse, and this horse was so sweet. And here's a photo. So this isn't my first time ever on a horse, but I believe I was around 3 or 4 in this picture. Here's another picture. This was at a closer barn, I believe. Definitely I was very happy in these photos. I loved horses so much. So I was like, please, someday take me to a horse summer camp. So y'all can tell, many years later, after riding Western for almost my whole life and getting to be pretty good at Western, I grew up riding Western and going on Western trail rides to the point where I was able to canter Western, but I grew to love riding Western. So going to an English summer camp, you can guess, was not very easy for me. There were so many more things that I didn't know about horses that I learned at this barn. Like holding your 2-point or learning how to hold your reins in that way. How to post. It was definitely an adventure that took some time, but as you guys can probably see, I was not the best at this, and it was very different for me than what I was used to. And I wasn't good at it at all. I didn't have any confidence, and I was so scared. But I learned quickly, and I got better at sitting up and holding my posture and holding my reins, and I just worked so hard. This is when the saddle seat lessons came in.
Little kick. Huh? Give him a little kick.
Of course, I wasn't very good at this either.
The faster he goes, the better he is. Kick and tap.
After a while,
That's
I decided that this wasn't for me, and that I could not do this. So I tried my best to get better and better and do what they were telling me to do. Yes, I understand this was awful. But I agree, this was awful for the horses, and I felt terrible. I was just doing what I was told to do. And after my first bad fall, yes, that was like my first bad fall ever. We rode there a little longer. I had some other pretty bad falls there too. Got a concussion for the first time. I had my fair share of bad things happen to me there. And after one of the most recent bad things happened there, we couldn't do it anymore. We switched. Now keep in mind, my old barn never let me canter, not once. I was riding there for 2 years, maybe a year and a half? But switching was one of the best choices I've ever made. I learned so much from my barn right now. The first ever horse I rode there was Molly, very sweet. And I loved her so much. She taught me how to jump. She taught me how to go over poles. She taught me all the basics. She taught me everything. That was one of my first times jumping a crossrail. Yes, I do miss her, but things happen. This is my first time ever cantering in an English saddle. You can tell I wasn't the best at it, but I learned quickly, and the jumps got bigger, and Molly got older. So I started bouncing around on different horses. This was Bentley. Yes, I have ridden him recently, but I don't really ride him anymore. And that was one of my first times ever actually riding a canter kind of nicely. The next horse I bounced onto was Rambo. We don't have Rambo at our barn anymore, but he was a real sweetheart. Yes, he did like to, how do I say this? How do I explain this? Over jump at times, but I loved him. Then the horse I still ride today is Dally. She taught me a lot, and I love her so much for that. She taught me so much, and I taught her so much. She taught me about her, and I taught her about me. Yeah, I miss riding her as often as I used to, but I love her. I love her so much. And it's so hard to think about how I might not ride her for a while again. But I love her. Now, of course, Dally had her moments, but her moments weren't always bad. And then came my show, my first ever show. Did not go as planned. He refused about, I wasn't counting. He refused 7 times and dodged each time and knocked down 2 poles. So it was not a good start to my show. But if you guys want to see the whole show round, let me know in the comments. If y'all are wondering, I was riding Cooper, a very, very lazy boy. And then came my walk, trot, canter round. And I actually was not too upset about this round. I feel like I did a pretty decent job. If y'all want the whole round, let me know. Can't forget about the costume round now, can we? Yep, if y'all can guess what it is, whoever guesses what we dressed up as will get a shout out. And this was my first time ever on a gaited horse. This is Yaba. Well, I mean, I technically was on Loki, but yeah, it doesn't count. And I had a great time on him.
Can't do it, Yaba.
It was something new, and I love trying new things.
It does.
It was fun. And that brings us to my first time ever riding Dally bareback. It was not going well, and she would not go. But yeah, I did canter her over some jumps, I believe. And that was also a really fun time. It was my first time ever jumping bareback, I believe. I'm not good at it. This was my first time ever on Soldier. Oh, the memories. Oh, and the bad position. Don't even tell me about it. Oh, gosh. It's so difficult to think about how far back this was. Wow. This is my first time ever cantering him. We got on the right lead, and here we go. Really fast gallop, right, y'all? Super fast, speedy gallop, huh? Oh, the seat was so bad. I don't even want to know. This was my first time ever cantering a line on Soldier. Oh, look how beautiful this seat is. Oh, no, Just kidding. It was not beautiful. Oh, the bunny hops we had. As you guys can tell, we're getting to more recent videos. This wasn't too long ago, I believe about 2 or 3 months ago. And cantering Soldier once again. He is a beautiful canter. Kinda. Oh, and we can't forget about the time Soldier stuck his whole head in the hay bale. Yes. Oh, so much hay in his mane. I absolutely love this video of me cantering Soldier. Such beautiful strides he got in there. We don't talk about my seat right there, though. I totally got off balance. We don't talk about that. But yes, he was on the right lead, too. He's so pretty when he's just being himself. And then he dies out. Look closely. See that vertical right there? I was terrified of that vertical. It was so big to me. It was so big. Oh, but wait to see what Miss Mary does in this exact lesson. Just wait. But reminder, this was my first time ever jumping the blocks, and she made it an oxer. My first time ever jumping the block size, and she made it an oxer, and it didn't go well. Definitely lost our balance, but our second attempt, wait for it, and ready? Voila. What a beautiful, beautiful jump on him. But he went on the wrong lead after, but that's Soldier. Now, that used to be my biggest jump, and I used to brag to all my friends, like, I've jumped so big, but it wasn't that big, and I've jumped bigger now. Now, of course, thinking that I jumped this oxer, and I was so impressed with myself, I jumped this. I wasn't on Soldier, this is just a size reference, but it was like 3 bars in a row. Still, that's not my biggest jump, but it was scary at the moment. And jumping 3 bars in a row was new to me. So we had to get the horses to take off earlier than usual. But I will admit, it was fun. And then I started riding Whisper, this chubby, stubby little guy. I think you guys are pretty much all caught up now on my crazy riding story. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm sorry for making this video so long.